In this video, we're going to be showcasing our SVG Silhouette Studio file exporter here and give you a better understanding of why this is a real time saver tool that will definitely speed up your design workflow. So typically, we would create our SVG artwork in Inkscape or Silhouette Studio, and then we would bring that artwork into Bamboo. So let's look at that workflow real quick. We have some SVG files that we exported from Silhouette Studio, and we have some SVG files that we created with Inkscape. And then we're going to go here into Bamboo, and let's go ahead and just open up one of those SVG files. We'll start here with the Home of the Bulldogs SVG. Now, this file was exported from Bamboo as an SVG file, and you can see we get this error message. It says that the SVG contains some unsupported data. Now, this is a common issue when we're going from Silhouette Studio into Bamboo Studio. So yeah, we can't do that. So it's saying, let's use some third-party software to convert the SVG, which is what I did. I took that Silhouette Studio SVG file, brought it into Inkscape, modified it the way it needed to be modified, and let's go ahead and import that file. And you see it says Home of the Bulldogs revised here. And so we'll bring that in, and this is what we get. So you could see here that it is 10 millimeters thick, but you could see over here, all of our part names are just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we don't really know what the heck is what here. And you notice that all of our parts are all 10 millimeters thick, but all of our parts are all red. And so we don't know what is supposed to be what color. And so we'd have to sort that out. We'd have to rename our parts. We'd have to recolor our parts. And yeah, it's just an extra time-consuming step. So that is problematic for us. Now let's go ahead and look at another SVG. Now this SVG was created in Inkscape. So this is our Jags hair tie SVG. And you can see here, we also have, in this case, 13 pieces that make up this file. And again, everything comes in red, everything comes in 10 millimeters thick. And so we'd have to sort out what the heck is what here. And we'd have to set all of our colors and all of our filament colors. And yes, every time we bring in an SVG, that is a time-consuming process. Now, if we're looking at the Silhouette to Tinkercad situation, in this particular case, we would have to export 13 individual SVG files, and then we'd go into Tinkercad and we would import 13 individual SVG files. And that's no fun. That's time consuming. And so we don't want to have to do that. And that's what the goal was of the tool, to avoid all of this. Okay. So let's go ahead and we'll hit File New here. I do want to pop over to Inkscape and Silhouette Studio just for a moment, just so you could see the artwork in both tools here. So let's start here. And so this is our Bulldogs text here in Inkscape, and you can see we have our layer, and then you can see we have all of the individual components of our Bulldog file here. And then if we come over here to Silhouette Studio, we have the same situation where we have our Bulldogs file, but you could also see that we have all of our parts and pieces, just like we do in Inkscape. Now, if you're brand new to 3D printing, you do not want to be using Silhouette Studio. The only purpose that you would use Silhouette Studio is if you already owned it and you just want to stay working within Silhouette Studio, it's perfectly fine. But I will say this, there are lots of things that you're missing out on because you're not using Inkscape. Inkscape is a much more feature-rich software. We can do all kinds of things in Inkscape that we can't do here in Silhouette Studio. So I would strongly encourage you to look to move to Inkscape. If you're familiar with how Silhouette Studio works, it almost works the exact same way in Inkscape. So you should have no problem picking up Inkscape relatively quickly. All right. Now, key point to note here, when we're exporting SVGs from Silhouette Studio, we would need the business edition of Silhouette Studio, which is going to set us back $99. Now, for our tool, we don't use SVG files from Silhouette. We use the actual Silhouette Studio file itself. So we don't need to export SVG files. But in order to import SVG files into Silhouette Studio, you at least need the designer edition, which is $49. That's the version I have, is the designer edition. It allows us to import SVGs, but we cannot save SVGs. And the other thing the designer edition does is it gives us this layer option. We do not have that in the basic version of the software. So there you go. All right. So that's the details there on Silhouette Studio. So now let's go ahead and take a look at how the tool works and how that differs from what we're doing here. So you can see here we have two Silhouette Studio files. We have an SVG file that was exported from Silhouette Studio, and then we have SVG files directly from Inkscape. So we're just going to take all of those files and drag and drop them into the tool here. And you can see down here, it tells us what's happening here. It's processing those files. And now those 3D models have been created, and you see them populate over here on the left-hand side. And now we can have 5 3D models ready to go for us based on the files that we fed the software. So now we can go into Bamboo and see some of the differences here. So let's go ahead and begin the process here. Let's go ahead and open up a file. And let's go ahead and start with Home of the Bulldogs, okay? So we'll start there. So this file here was created directly from the Silhouette Studio file, okay? So there you go. So you can see here, the key takeaway here is all of our filament colors are automatically populated for us, and all of our parts have a specific name. You see that? So now we can go through and build our 3D model very, very quickly and easily. So let's go ahead and walk you through this with this particular file, just so you can see how this workflow works. So we start here with our main backplate. We're going to come here to our scale tool. We're going to set that to 8 millimeters because that's what I use for my height chains. And then because that's 8, we need to set the Z height to 4, which is half of 8. And then we can move on. The outer ring, let's go ahead and set that thickness to 2. So we go to the scale tool. That'll be 2. And where is that going to sit? Well, that is going to sit at 9. Now, I'm not going to really explain in great detail the Z heights because I know that is another whole subject, but I just want to show you, once you understand how Z heights work and extrusion thicknesses work, that actually creating the 3D model is just going to be super, super quick and easy. Now, the white backplate here, we're going to go back to our scale tool. Let's go ahead and set that to 2. And I think what I want to do here, what I typically would do, is just go through my objects list here and set each one of these to what I ultimately want the finished product to be in terms of the extrusion thickness. So I will start there. So the black backplate, the gray, the red collar, the white details, the black dots, the upper text, and Bulldog's text, everything is going to be 2 millimeters thick. Okay. So now we can switch over to the move tool, and then we could just set the Z heights of everything. Okay. So that's the easy part. So we'll start here with our white backplate. Now the main backplate here was set to 8, and so we're going to set this to 8 as well. Okay, and then the backplate here, the black one, let's set that to 9, which is 1 more than 8. And then the gray, let's go ahead and set that to 10. And then the red collar, we're going to set that to 10. The white details, we could set that to 10, and we could have done this all in one shot. The black details here, we're going to do 10.5. And then the upper text, we are going to do that at, let's see, 9. Now let's do that at 10. And then the Bulldog's text, we'll do that at 10 as well. Now let's look at it and scrutinize this a little bit more so we could see what's actually happening here. So you see all of these things happening here. Let's see here. All that looks pretty good. But you can see how we have just a small gap there. Our text is raised here. We'll zoom in tight here, and you see these little nostril pieces. how they're 2 millimeters thick, but they're only sticking out just a half a millimeter. Okay, so let's go ahead and slice this. And there you go. See, you have a perfect 3D model ready to go. You see it says slice okay. That's the indicator that we did everything correctly as far as our Z heights go. But you can see how much easier it's going to be for you to get your finished 3D model uh, because all of our extrusions and Z heights, yes, we could have done all that in Tinkercad, but we don't need to do that in Tinkercad. We could do all that just as easily here in Bamboo Studio. We don't have to export individual SVG files and then import individual SVG files. And then on the Inkscape workflow, when we import our SVG file, we would have to color everything. We'd have to set up all of our filament colors, all that nonsense, and all of that takes time. Okay, so there you go. Now, let's take a look at another file, which is, we're not going to save this one, which is our Jags hair tie file. Let's go ahead and look at that one. See, so we saw previously we've done that, but now we have all of the filament colors for this particular design ready to go. And again, we have all of our pieces and parts for this design ready to go as well. And so what we can do is we can come in here and we can go ahead and do the same thing as we did previously with the Bulldogs file. So let's go ahead and do that. So in this case, we created this artwork in Inkscape. We named all of our parts in Inkscape. We had all of our parts colored properly in Inkscape. Now, when we open up the 3D model here in Bamboo Studio, at least all of that part is done for us. All we have to do now is specify the extrusion thickness and the Z height placements. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So for our hair tie, I do know that is going to be 4 millimeters thick. And then for our ribbon plate, that is going to be 3 millimeters thick. Then we have our blue back plate, that's going to be 2. And then our ribbon outer ring, that is also going to be 2. And then for our Jaguars text, that's going to be 3. And for our small text, that is going to be 2. And keep on going down the list here. Our orange back plate, that is going to be 3. And then our blue back plate, that is going to be 2. Our orange back plate, our other orange back plate, that's going to be 2. Our blue spots, those are going to be 2. The white jag and the mouth, we'll go ahead and make both of those 2 as well. And finally, our whiskers, those are going to be 2 as well. I'm going to change the fill color of my whiskers to filament color 1. Let's see if we have any other 4s in the list. We do not. So there we go. Okay, so that is the start of our project here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back in and set all of our Z heights. So for the hair tie, because remember it was 4, therefore our Z height is 2. Our ribbon back plate here, that is 3. Okay, so therefore the Z height should be 1.5 on that one. Okay, and then our blue back plate here, that is 2 millimeters thick, and the Z height on that one should be 3 as well. The ribbon outer ring here, that thickness is 2. You see that there, but the Z height should be 4. Okay, and then our Jaguars text here, this is 3 millimeters thick. Half of 3 is 1.5. And so we want this to be 5.5. Now, I don't expect you to really understand all of the Z heights right now. That's not really what our mission is here. That is not something that we can replicate and do for you. You have to understand the relationship of the Z heights between all of these different parts, and you will in time. But I just want to show you, once you understand the Z heights, getting your model already prepped for you and then just come in here and set all of your Z heights, this is going to be very, very straightforward for you and very, very quick. So anyhow, our small text, the Z height there is going to be 4. Our orange back plate, now this is 3, and so therefore it needs to be 1.5, half of 3. And then our blue back plate, That is going to be 4. And then we have our orange backplate. That is going to be 5. And then our blue spots here, that needs to sit just one proud of our orange. So we could do, our orange is 5. We could do 5.5. And I think that's what we'll do. I think we'll try 5.5 here. And then for our white Jag parts, let's go ahead and set those to, let's just set those to 6. And then our white mouth, let's set that to 6. And then finally our whiskers, let's go ahead and do those at 6.5 and see how this all looks. Okay, so let's look at this. I wanted my Jags text to be a little bit more pronounced, but that's how it all looks. Okay. Now, looking at my white here, I don't even know that that needs to be up as tall as it is. So we can go back in. So that's at 6. Let's see what 5.5 looks like. That looks good. So we're just going to back that off just a little bit. And let's come over here and do the same thing on this one. What is that one? That one was at 6. Let's go ahead and back that off to 5.5 as well. Just a little bit different there. All right, let's go ahead and slice this up and make sure she's going to slice the way we want to. So down here, we're looking for to say slice okay. You can see, sure enough, there it is. Slice is okay. So that will get the job done, just like that. Okay. So that is it, guys. So hopefully you understand a little bit more how this tool will really simplify the workflow where we don't have to set up filament colors. We don't have to name our parts. All we have to do is come in and specify the thickness of our parts and where they sit in relationship to the Z between one another. We do have a dedicated chat in our Patreon that is available to everyone that can ask questions. If you're running into issues, post it there. We will get to those as quickly as we can and help you better understand how to utilize this tool and incorporate it into your existing workflow. So until next time, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or need one-on-one training or some custom files made for you, this is my contact information, so feel free to reach out via email. You can text me. You could even give me a call. I'd be happy to answer questions or give you more details on the one-on-one training we offer, and as well as if you need custom files made until you are up to speed on how to make them yourself, feel free to reach out and we'd be happy to help you with that as well.